Hey there, folks. Tonight we're diving into a topic nobody wants to talk about, colon cancer. But it's not just your grandpa's disease anymore. We're seeing a shocking rise in colon cancer among young adults under 50. This trend has doctors and researchers scratching their heads. Turns out those beloved breakfast staples, bacon, sausages, and other processed meats, might be playing a much more sinister role than we ever imagined. So before you reach for another slice of bacon, let's dig a little deeper. Colon cancer is on the rise in young adults, and it's a trend that's leaving doctors and researchers deeply concerned. Just a few decades ago, this was a disease mostly seen in older adults, but now more and more people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are being diagnosed. The big question is, why is this happening? What's changed in our lifestyles, our diets, or our environment that could be fueling this alarming increase? One area that's getting a lot of attention is our breakfast table. Specifically, the foods we love to eat in the morning, like breakfast sausage. Could these seemingly innocent breakfast staples be playing a bigger role in our health than we realize? It all boils down to processed meat, foods that have been altered from their original state for flavor, preservation, or convenience. These aren't just your average cuts of meat. They're products that have gone through a lot of steps before they reach your plate. We're talking about bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, basically anything that's been smoked, cured, salted, or chemically preserved to extend its shelf life or enhance its taste. These methods might make the meat more flavorful and convenient, but they also introduce a host of additives and chemicals that our bodies weren't really designed to handle in large amounts. Sure, these meats might taste great. There's a reason bacon and sausage are breakfast favorites and hot dogs are a staple at every summer barbecue. The flavors are rich, smoky, and satisfying, and they're often tied to happy memories and social gatherings. But behind that delicious taste, processed meats are loaded with things like saturated fat, sodium nitrates, and other preservatives. These ingredients can wreak havoc on your gut health and have been linked to inflammation and even cancer risk. Think about it. These products are designed to last for weeks, sometimes even months, without spoiling. That kind of shelf life doesn't come naturally. It's achieved through a cocktail of chemicals and preservation techniques that keep bacteria at bay. But what are they doing to our bodies? It's a little unsettling when you realize that a hot dog can outlast a hamster. What exactly are they putting in there that allows it to stay fresh for so long? And more importantly, what does that mean for your health if you're eating these foods regularly? Now I know what you're probably thinking. Does this mean you have to give up bacon cheeseburgers, sausage sandwiches, or your favorite deli meats forever? The good news is, not necessarily. Enjoying these foods occasionally isn't the problem. It's when they become a daily habit that the risks start to add up. The key is moderation and making informed choices. Start by reading ingredient labels, paying attention to how often you're eating processed meats, and looking for healthier alternatives when you can. Consulting with a nutritionist or your doctor can also help you make choices that fit your lifestyle and health needs. Remember, when it comes to your health, ignorance is not bliss. The more you know about what you're putting into your body, the better equipped you are to protect yourself from diseases like colon cancer. It's time to wise up about our food choices. Swapping out processed meats for fresh, whole foods, even just a few times a week, can make a big difference in your long-term health. Stay tuned, because we're just getting started. There's a lot more to uncover about the foods we eat and how they impact our bodies, so don't go anywhere. Let's talk numbers, people. Sometimes, the headlines just don't do justice to the reality behind the statistics. When you dig into the data, the story becomes even more urgent and more personal. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on some truly shocking figures that are changing the way we think about health, especially for young adults. The statistics on colon cancer in young adults are frankly terrifying. This isn't just a blip or a minor uptick. This is a dramatic, sustained surge that's catching doctors and researchers off guard. For decades, colon cancer was considered a disease that mostly affected older adults. But now, the numbers are telling a very different story. Globally, diagnoses in people under 50 have skyrocketed by 80% in recent years. That's right, 80%. Imagine a graph where the line doesn't just slope upward, it shoots up almost vertically. This isn't just a statistic, it's a wake-up call for an entire generation. That's not a typo, 80%. It's a number that's hard to wrap your head around, and it's leaving families, doctors, and public health officials scrambling for answers. The sheer scale of this increase is enough to make anyone stop and think, what's really going on here? The US and UK are both seeing similar trends, and it's not just a Western problem. In fact, these rising rates are being reported in countries across every continent. No matter where you live, whether it's a bustling city in Europe, a small town in America, or a growing metropolis in Asia, the risk is climbing. Countries all over the globe are reporting increases, making this a widespread issue. It's not limited by geography, culture, or income. This is a global health crisis that's affecting people from all walks of life, and it's happening faster than anyone expected. So what's causing this dramatic rise? It's not just processed meat, though that's a big part of the conversation. The truth is, there's no single culprit. The modern lifestyle is a complex web of habits and exposures, and many of them are working against us. Lifestyle choices, genetics, and environmental factors all play a role. Sedentary routines, poor diets, family history, and even the air we breathe can contribute to our risk. It's a perfect storm of influences, and young adults are finding themselves caught in the middle. But researchers agree processed meat consumption is a major contributor. Decades of studies have linked foods like bacon, sausages, and deli meats to higher cancer risks. The chemicals used in processing, the way these meats are cooked, and how often we eat them all add up over time. Why are we so obsessed with these foods? Despite the warnings, processed meats remain a staple in many diets. They're convenient, affordable, and let's face it, delicious. But at what cost? Our cravings might be putting our health on the line, especially for younger generations who grew up with these foods as everyday options. What is it about bacon that makes us throw caution to the wind? Is it the irresistible aroma, the crispy texture, or the comfort of familiar flavors? Whatever the reason, our love affair with processed meats is stronger than ever. But as the numbers show, it's time to take a closer look at what's really at stake. Let's unpack that next. It's time to peel back the plastic and see what's really in processed meats. The stuff that gives hot dogs their snap isn't exactly found in nature. Making processed meat involves salting, curing, fermenting, smoking, and adding chemical preservatives. Fresh meat is like a blank canvas. Processing it is like letting a toddler loose with a paint gun. So, what exactly are they putting in these meats? Glad you asked. Let's break down this chemical cocktail. One of the main culprits is heme iron found in red meat. Studies have linked high heme iron intake to an increased risk of colon cancer. Then there are nitrates and nitrites added to processed meats for preservation and color. These can form cancer-causing nitrosamines in our bodies. Heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, are formed when meat is cooked at high temperatures. These chemicals have also been linked to cancer. Basically, we're talking about a chemical cocktail that's bad news for your colon. But don't just take my word for it. Let's see what the experts say. Let's hear what the experts have to say. Dr. Naim, a leading oncologist from NYU, puts it bluntly. The evidence is clear. Processed meats increase your risk of colon cancer. Dr. Naim, a researcher from the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center, agrees. Reducing or eliminating processed meat is one of the most effective ways to lower your risk. These experts base their advice on years of research and countless studies. The link between processed meat and colon cancer is well established, but we're not just talking about theories here. Let's dive into the evidence. Let's talk science. We need solid, peer-reviewed studies to back up these claims. One landmark study followed over 500,000 people for nearly a decade. Those who ate the most processed meat had a significantly higher risk of developing colon cancer. Another study found that eating just 50 grams of processed meat per day, about 2 slices of bacon, was linked to an 18% increased risk. These are just a couple of examples from a vast body of research. Even international organizations are taking notice. This is where things get real. In 2015, the World Health Organization officially classified processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen, a known cause of cancer. That puts it in the same category as tobacco smoking, asbestos, and arsenic. The WHO's classification was based on a review of over 800 studies. They found sufficient evidence that processed meat causes colorectal cancer. So next time you reach for that bacon cheeseburger, remember, it's not just a guilty pleasure, you're potentially putting your health at risk. The danger is real. We've talked about the risks, but knowledge without action is useless. It's crucial to be aware of colon cancer symptoms. Early detection can literally be a lifesaver. If you experience persistent changes in bowel habits, rectal bleeding, abdominal pain, unexplained weight loss, or fatigue, see a doctor. These symptoms can have many causes, but it's always better to be safe. The earlier colon cancer is caught, the better the chances of a positive outcome. I know what you're thinking. What am I supposed to eat now? Changing your eating habits can feel overwhelming, especially with so much conflicting advice out there. You might be staring into your fridge, wondering which foods are actually good for you and which ones you should avoid. But don't worry, you're not alone in feeling this way. The good news is, making healthier choices doesn't have to be complicated or stressful. Here are some practical, easy-to-follow tips that can help you build a healthier plate and support your long-term well-being. First, try to limit your intake of processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli meats. These foods are often high in unhealthy fats, salt, and preservatives, which can increase your risk of certain diseases. Instead of making them a daily staple, save them for special occasions or occasional treats. When you do decide to enjoy meat, opt for leaner cuts such as turkey or chicken, and trim off any visible fat before cooking. Cooking meats at lower temperatures, like baking or grilling instead of frying, can also help reduce the formation of harmful compounds. Adding herbs and spices can boost flavor without extra calories or salt. Embrace the power of plants by filling at least half your plate with a variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. These foods are naturally low in calories and high in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Try experimenting with new recipes or adding an extra serving of veggies to your favorite dishes. Foods rich in fiber, like beans, broccoli, and whole grain bread, are especially important. Fiber not only helps keep your digestive system running smoothly, but it also feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which can boost your immune system and lower your risk of colon cancer. Don't be afraid of healthy fats. Avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil are all excellent sources of unsaturated fats, which can help protect your heart and keep you feeling full and satisfied. Use olive oil for salad dressings or drizzle it over roasted vegetables for extra flavor. Remember, a healthy lifestyle isn't just about what you eat. Regular physical activity is just as important. Moving your body helps reduce your risk of colon cancer and many other chronic diseases. Find activities you enjoy, whether it's jogging, dancing, or even a brisk walk around your neighborhood. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week. You can break it up into shorter sessions if that works better for your schedule. The key is to stay consistent and make movement a regular part of your routine. And don't forget to talk to your doctor about when to start screening for colon cancer, especially if you have a family history or other risk factors. Early detection can make a big difference in outcomes. Ultimately, it's all about balance and making informed choices. Small, consistent changes can add up to big benefits over time. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. Just aim to do a little better each day, and your body will thank you. So there you have it. The truth about processed meats and colon cancer in young adults. It's not a pretty picture, but we don't have to live in fear. By understanding the risks and making informed choices, we can empower ourselves to live healthier lives. When it comes to our health, ignorance is not bliss. It's time